Hey, I'm Autumn with Lowkey R&B, and today I'm here with FrankHaveMercy. How are you doing today, Frank?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So I read a little bit about you, and I think you have a very interesting backstory. So I just want to know a little bit more about you and how you started singing.
Yeah. So just a quick backstory. I was born and raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina, same city as J. Cole.
Mm,
Um, and growing up, I was in church a lot, probably like any kid that grew up where I was. Grew up playing basketball. That was like my first commitment, my first love.
mm,
Had a couple offers out of high school.
mm,
I went to the Army. I went to Afghanistan when I was 19. I came back and just needed some hobbies, so I picked up the camera, uh,
mm,
started traveling to different states and stuff, and just linking up with like whoever I could find on Instagram, like photographers that I liked. I would just like, yo, can you link up, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? I would just try to learn as much as I could from them.
mm.
And that just transpired into me traveling to New York, traveling to LA, where I would just meet more creatives and things like that. And it just kind of dawned on me like, oh shit, people like do things that they actually love and make a living off of it. So I was like, I can
Mhm.
get out the Army and make a way. So I moved out here in 2016, and I was doing like photography for like the engineer that does all TDE stuff.
Mhm.
So I was shooting like Kendrick sessions and Nipsey Hussle sessions and SZA and all these sessions, bro. And it was just so inspiring. So through that, I was creative directing people's music and stuff like that. And it just got to a point where I was like, I wanted to try my own stuff. So like
Mhm.
late 2018, I kind of got into music. And when I went into it, I was like, I want to be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? But when I got in the booth, everything just come out of me more like vulnerable and like spiritual and stuff. And it just kind of happened that I could sing. And I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? So my family was shocked. All my friends are shocked. They like, this is like totally far left, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I got into singing. It just kind of happened to me, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. So when you mentioned that you began, like you went to church a lot growing up, did you ever have any interest in joining like the choir or anything like that?
My grandma forced me to be in the choir. It was like if you went to church, you had to do everything. I was an usher, a choir. I used
Mhm.
to work in Bible study and all this stuff. So yeah, I did all that.
Oh,
I always loved music. Growing up, like
mhm.
my mom is a big music fan. She uh, just put me on the Sade really early, and Luther Vandross and all these different people that she was just big fans of. And it kind of rubbed off on me later in life. I can hear the inspirations. So
Mhm.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I like to hear a lot of I think a lot of people start complaining about like newer R&B artists that they don't start off in the church. So it's really like I also grew up in the church. I'm an artist like that, but I
Right.
think it's really cool that that is becoming more of R&B artists are now starting out in the church. So that's super cool to hear that.
And
And I also was an usher, so I can
standing up all day sucks.
Yes, it definitely does. Yes. So we're gonna jump right into talking about your EP, and then the first single that came out yesterday is Heartache with Beernick. I interviewed her like last year. She's awesome. So such a cool person. How did you feel when that song was released? Like, were you nervous or you're just like excited to go?
It wasn't. I mean, I guess every artist kind of nervous of like how people are gonna perceive it, but I love the song so much, and I knew it was so amazing that I
Hmm.
wasn't as nervous as I have been in the past.
Hmm.
And I mean, I've had this song since like last. Uh, I recorded that song first, probably in April last
Hmm.
year. So it's like more than a year old, and Bearnick got on it like in October.
Hmm.
So we've had it for a while, man. I've just been sitting on it. I've been ready. So it just felt like a sense of relief. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It felt like a great accomplishment. I knew Bearnick for years, and we finally was able to get one together. You know what I'm saying? So and it just felt right. It was just a great. Her voice fit on there so perfect.
Yeah, definitely. She has a really great voice. Um,
Insane.
mhm. I also saw that, we talked a little bit about your spirituality, and there in the opening of the visual, there's a verse from Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 16. So does that passage have any special significance to you?
I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't. It was just
Hmm.
that's that's the page that was open. So I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, I love that. You know, it was just that's the passage it was on. But
no, but it works with the song too, because I looked it up and it says like their hearts followed after their idol so closely that they did not live by statutes, but rejected my ordinance and discarded my Sabbaths. So it kind of like goes with the song. So
like all divine for me. I feel like everything that be happening for me just be like lining up with when it's supposed to. Like even as far as me getting into music or just like where I am in my life right now, everything just happens exactly how it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. And like you also are credited as a writer for the song. Like how was your writing process for that?
My writing process is very like I actually had videos that I'll probably post soon of like had a living room set up in Cabo last year. We were in Cabo for a month and I would just sit with my producers and we just kind of do everything out loud. I have a jam session and those are the melodies that instantly came to me. I mean, I recorded my verse within like 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
Wow.
I sat with Bearnick and helped her write her verse too. She came up with most of her melodies. You know, she's insanely talented with melodies and harmonies. So my writing process is very just like I just let it flow, and if it takes me more than like 5-10 minutes to get a melody or words to come to me, then I just move on from the song.
I see. So you wrote did you write most of the EP in Cabo or just this song?
I wrote that in Cabo. I probably wrote like half of the songs that are on the EP in Cabo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Got the vibe there. That's when we started like the sound of it and you know.
Cool. But I also one of my favorite ones was one of the songs on the EP was Melancholy. Is that how you pronounce it?
That was the first single off of there.
Okay.
So I released that probably like a month or two ago, maybe like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I love that song so much.
I think that's my favorite one. And also because there's so many themes within your EP in general, but that one was so like it pressed upon like about like police brutality and stuff like that. So was that important for you to have that theme on your EP?
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, I talk about love a lot and losing love, feeling down and all these things. And it's just, you know, it's important to also get those emotions that surround our life.
Yeah.
And, you know, things that we feel and, you know, the environment that I'm from and like people I lost when I was growing up and stuff like that. It just kind of weighs on me when I'm recording and stuff. Sometimes it just comes to me. It's just like those frequencies within that beat. That's just what it pulled out of me. So yeah, that shit just felt natural. It felt good. It definitely was like therapeutic for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was very intentional.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that song because I think it's one of the different ones that were on the EP too. So yeah, and I also liked All Right too. I felt like when I was listening to that one, I was like, I could put this on in the car, you know, late night drive. Like I also really enjoyed that one too. And in that song, you repeatedly say like, "Oh, like I'm in love with two women." So like, I feel like is there a story behind? I was like, I have to ask him this. Like, is there a story? Is this from a personal experience, or is like a friend's experience? Like, what's the deal with that one?
Definitely personal to me. I'm such a big lover, man. That like I don't know. I don't even have to spend a lot of time with somebody, but I fall in love very easy. And I really don't have too much of a problem falling out of love because I never really fall out of love. I just loving somebody else. So it's just kind of like it's a continuous loop, and you know I struggle with it. Yeah, so that's definitely my experience. But that's one of my favorite songs because it gives me like an ear break. As a listener, all the other songs are such like masterpieces in my eyes, like damn near like an orchestra or something.
Yeah.
You know, so many different elements. And that song is really just very freestyle, doesn't really have a chorus or anything. It's just like a vibe. So I'm glad you fuck with that.
Yeah, that one was good. I was like, it's definitely a vibe. Like, I really, really enjoyed that one. But we talked about like a couple of your favorites, the two I mentioned. Is there another one that's your favorite, or is just like those two?
In my head, that first track is I really love that song so much because it just sounds so big. And I know like probably when it gets to the point, I've already been doing performances and shows, but when it gets to the point where I'm at like Coachella and places like that, I just feel like that's a song that people would just sing at the top of their lungs. You know what I'm saying? It's like songs with like the sad lyrics, but it's upbeat, so it just makes you feel good. That's one of my favorites, and that's how the project kicks off. I really like the track with World. He's a Nigerian artist. Artist, like I feel like he's probably next up to like be the frontier of that Nigerian culture over there. And I'm trying to think, I really like all of the songs, but In My Head is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, it was a good way to start off the EP too. So I think, oh, sorry.
I'm glad you felt like that. That shit is important. Like the first track is so important to me.
It is. Because you don't want people to keep listening, it's just like, oh God, it's like, what is this guy talking about? Like, you definitely don't want that type of reaction from someone. I definitely genuinely did not get that reaction. So you talked a little bit about, you writing in Cabo and stuff. How was the production process? I feel like you're kind of passionate about that as well whenever we speak about the song. So how was that production process for you?
Well, the thing is, I've only used for this project, or just in general, usually 3 or 4 producers, and we're all really close. So, we're all living in the same house. We're eating every meal together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're going to the gym together. We're doing all this in Cabo. We just created this routine. Wow. So when we're in, it just felt very like, I really don't even know how to answer it. It almost feels like church, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, they don't really know what they're gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and it just all kind of comes to us. It's like, it's low key. Like my main producer, his name is Isla Orbis. His real name is Saeed, but he always says it's just like our ancestors speaking through us type. Because you never know what you're pulling from. It's just they just literally put their hands on some keys and start playing something, and then an hour later we have this finished product. And it's crazy that we're just like creating a song from blank space. You know what I'm saying? It's like the most. It's such a miracle to me. Every time we complete a song, I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, I'm just very into the production side of things, and it's just very free flowing. Like every now and then I'll bring them an idea and be like, yo, I want it to sound like this, or I need these type of keys. I need it to be low. I need it to be high. I need it to be C flat or E minor or whatever. But most of the time we're just vibing, man.
That's good. I feel like it sounds like you made a community when you went over to Cabo. Like you sat down with 3 to 4 guys, like you trusted, and you're just like, okay, like we're about to make this happen, It
was so that like in the house, like we had a chef there. The chef every day is just while he's cooking, he hears us record, you know what I'm saying? So it was that type of vibe where we can hear him cooking in the kitchen. People might be outside in the pool. I've literally recorded like wet sometimes, just fresh out the pool. So it was just that type of vibe.
Wow, that's really interesting. So how is this how is Endless Summer different from your 2020 album? How is that different?
I feel like Endless Summer is such like it's like euphoric, and it's very like celestial, and I don't know, man. And then I just got better, you know what I'm saying? I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. Is like I'm more intentional with my voice. The lyrics are kind of more straightforward. The direction is more straightforward. There's less fluff involved. So there was just really a big jump in the talent, I feel like, with my producers and me, and then our chemistry as well.
Did you work with those same producers for your last album? Yeah. You did? Cool. That's cool. So yeah, there's definitely growth there. I can see that. And do you think you would have any other, I really like the visual that you had for your first one. So like, would you have any other visuals coming up for any of the other songs on there?
So Melancholy has a visual that came out about a month and a half ago. Should check that. And then I'm shooting a visual for In My Head probably in like 2-3 days.
Okay.
Releasing In My Head on July 8th.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's gonna be I feel like that one's gonna be really good too.
Yeah, me too. I got a special feeling about that joint, like just to be just to be totally honest. It just I listen to it so much, and I trust my taste level with like music and fashion and art and all these things. It's such a high taste level that I have that I'm playing this shit so much. I'm like, okay, I know people gonna love it because I'm listening to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like the person that listens to their music all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That song, I just find myself pressing play on it like every day. So I'm like, I can't wait to release it.
I love that. Do you have any, like, do you work with a lot of talented people on this EP? So are there any, is if you could have like a dream collab, who would you want to have it with?
I would love to work with SZA.
Yeah.
I would love to work with Don Toliver. Um, I would love to work with Kali Uchis. I would love to work with Doja Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, The Weeknd. I would love to work with J. Cole from the same city.
Yeah.
Of course, Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think if there's like somebody up and coming that I would love to work with. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. I really like Cash Page. Like,
Okay.
I love Cash Page. Those are just a few. Yeah.
So you said that you had like a lot of your mother's influence, like musically growing up. Like, who are some of like the older artists that you feel like your sound could be influenced by?
Sade is my biggest influence of all time. I love
Really?
her music when I wake up, when I go to sleep, when I'm out and about. Like, I watch her interviews all the time. I take on her like philosophy of like love and all these things. I'll just be studying. The way she worked with her producers is similar to me. Like, when
Mhm.
I'm not really recording with my producers, I'm not really making music. And then when I lock in with them, it's just sometimes with Lincoln in an hour, we got 3 or 4 songs just because we got that like connection. And I love how she used to just go away for 7 years and then she'll call her band back up like, yo, let's make an album, and it just be a great piece of, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is.
So I love Sade. Luther Vandross was a big influence, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think who else my mom really likes. Um, I'm gonna stick with those two. Those are the two that I just remember her playing all the time.
Mhm. Those are good people. I feel like good artists to have like as a foundation for R&B too. Like they're definitely top tier for me as well. So
And of course,
um
Jackson. I mean, I grew up on Mike. Like,
oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Mike.
yeah. It's hard not even to like. I have to say that, but everybody already know that.
Yeah, right. Like I just feel like you can't even like talk about music without talking about him. It's he's just that big.
It's impossible.
So you mentioned doing like you've done live shows before too. So like is there anything up and coming that we can like shout out about like that you could be performing?
I'm performing at the Soho Warehouse here in LA, July 22nd, which will be the same day that the EP releases.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be something fun. There'll be a lot of energy there. And we're kind of just focused on that right now. That's what we're focusing all our resources into.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to go to LA, but I know, I definitely want to. Like, it's funny because my friend is over there right now. So I was like, I should just come over and like go. Like, I would definitely love to see you live. So that'd be awesome. So just my last question is just like where can we stream Endless Summer? By the way, I really like the title of your EP too. It's very, like you said, it's like euphoric. When you said that, I'm like, boom, like that's
You know where I got that from?
where
I was at Art Basel in Miami, and I
mm,
was telling my homies, I'm like, I was trying to figure out the name of the EP. We had all these different names, and we were leaving out this restaurant called Planta, and it's like one of my favorite restaurants. But and this
mhm.
car was pulling off, and I saw this license plate, and it said Endless Summer on the license plate. I'm like, that's hard.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So after that, I was just like, damn, it just feels like that. LA feels like that. It feels like
Mhm.
it's all the time. Like, not even just weather, but just people's spirit, the attitude, just the vibe of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how we came up with that. But I mean, people can stream it everywhere: Apple, Tidal, Spotify, of course, Amazon, Pandora, Geezer, YouTube, all the major streaming platforms.
Awesome. And where can we follow you too? Like on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff?
Frank Have Mercy. So is Twitter and Facebook. My TikTok is Frank Have Mercy Official. Yeah, those are like the main ones that I be on.
Cool. Thank you so much for talking with me today. It was such a great conversation.
I love talking about music and just art in general and creating things. So, it's an honor for me too. I really appreciate it.